The next person to the stage, you name a card. Let me get that for him. He can be seen here, actually, as the host of Roger Lizzola's comedy show on Monday night at 8:30, and in the upcoming sci-fi video series, Look Up in the Sky. So, ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause to Rik Deskin.
Thanks, man. I just set up my laptop because I'm a nerd too. All right, so hello, welcome. Let's give it up for Ben Dunn. There we go, like that. Ben, I first got to know Ben because he's coming to my comic book store in Woodinville back in the 90s. So that was our first interactions, and I was a supplier of his geekdom, or at least part of it. So, and as a matter of fact, his parents, his whole family came in, so it was great. They're great customers. So you guys know about the Occupy movement that's going on right now, right? I'm sure you haven't missed any of that information. Today, there was a news report from Occupy Harrisburg about the demonstrators that dressed up like zombies and went to the mall and basically were just peacefully walking around as zombies and were asked to take their makeup off. And the lead of the zombies, when asked, she asked, well, what regulations say that we can't dress up like zombies? And then they casually pepper sprayed her. No, they basically they arrested her for trespassing. But I can just imagine the casually pepper sprayed cop being there. With a little. You guys have seen that meme, right? So interesting times. I support the Occupy movement very much so. I'm one of the 99% that is unemployed. I make tips, work as an actor, and income is always variable and infrequent. Ben understands this because he's also one of us types. But so yeah, I think he actually has a day job with Ranker, right? That's right. All right, but you're still one of the 99%. Cool. So anyway, Occupy. Yes. So Occupy movement's moving. It's getting into the collective consciousness. I think what we're going to be seeing is more of a stuff happening within our political system as a result of it. So, kudos to the Occupy movement. Any vegans in the house? No? I'm the only vegan here, and being a vegan around Thanksgiving is always an amusing time for me. Mainly because when I first proclaimed myself as vegan, it was a few weeks before Thanksgiving in '97, and threw my wife for a loop. She was like, "What?" She had planned out this whole meal. I was a vegetarian at the time, so she had made lots of recipes with cheese and stuff. And then suddenly I'm a vegan, and that just really screwed up her Thanksgiving that week. This is one of my sons up here running the lights and sound, so he can appreciate that. But now, everyone's used to me being a vegan for the most part. But in our family, we always have two Thanksgivings. So we have Thanksgiving 1 at my house, where my wife cooks a vegan and vegetarian meal. And then we have Thanksgiving 2 at my sister-in-law's house. And when we go there, they're very good hosts. They're very, very lovely people. But there's always this kind of odd man out kind of syndrome. And it's something I felt all through my life, being a comic book fan and being in Dungeons and Dragons, and kind of like what Ben was talking about. There was a time when it wasn't so cool to be the nerd or the geek or the vegan, which is still an uphill battle. But we're at the table, and everyone's half the family's eating jerky, the other half is eating tofurkey and the stuff that we brought. And I know. I think the only things that I could eat if we didn't bring any food there was probably potato chips and hummus, which is a start. But we're talking about drawing blood. I don't remember why we were talking about drawing blood as we're eating food. And then the discussion moved to hamsters, and of course no one eats hamsters, but there were times where we had pet hamsters, or animal companions rather, and one of them, we had a hamster in our family named Kate, And one night, out of the blue, she got out of her cage, and then we never found her again. She just totally disappeared. Either she burrowed somewhere and bred with gophers and squirrels, or her corpse is somewhere in her house, and maybe she's what's haunting the place. I don't know. So there is a hamster ghost. I believe that. So anyway, that was the topics of discussion at Thanksgiving this year. Next up, I think there's 2 Christmas meals, so there's always 2 meals everywhere for the holidays, so it's a lot of eating. Anybody celebrate Black Friday yesterday? Anybody go out and shop and spend money? Woo! All right. Well, today was Small Business Saturday, and tomorrow is what I call Sleep In Sunday, which is basically every Sunday, right? I do not like to get up early on Sundays. I like to stay up late on Saturdays and wake up late as I can on Sundays. So Monday, I think, is they're calling that. Well, that's Cyber Monday. Tuesday is Mauve Tuesday for collectors of obscure mauve-colored objects. Wednesday is Green Wednesday. That's where somebody in the planet actually paid on a Wednesday instead of a Friday, so they call it Green Wednesday. So yeah. So these are the times. These are the times. What else is going on in the world? Oh yes. You guys heard about the Smurfs movie, right? Anybody see the Smurfs? Neither did I. I didn't see it either. But apparently it's breaking box office records worldwide. So much so that they've greenlit a sequel, Smurfs 2. It's going to be the darkest chapter of the Smurfs trilogy. There'll definitely be a little part in it where Papa Smurf will be facing off with Brainy Smurf, and Brainy Smurf will get his little blue hand cut off, and he'll be crying and no, you're not my Papa Smurf, and So that'll be a blast. I can't wait for that. That movie beat Cowboys and Aliens, which is really surprising, but apparently Neil Patrick Harris sells tickets. He was in the movie, and Sofia Vergara, so I can only imagine that's where a lot of the audience was. And of course, Smurfs, they have a built-in audience of my sisters and other people like them. Smurfs cartoon was annoying to me when I was a kid. I was a kid in the 70s and 80s, so I'm a little bit older than most of you guys here. The cool cartoons at that time was the Lame Super Friends show, which was cool at the time, but it's totally lame now. And they just started this show called Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which was almost as lame, mainly lame because they had this little stupid animal character called Ms. Lion. If that character was not in the show, it would have been halfway cool. So those were my shows, but they conflicted with my sisters wanting to watch Smurfs and what was it, Snorkels? Snorks? Oh man, I hated those cartoons. They just bugged the hell out of me. So anyway, I've got this built-in hatred of that. And then of course, my dad was always into watching football games when I wanted to watch the old horror films that were on TV. And so at the time we had one TV, black and white. Can you imagine that, black and white TV? And he always wanted to watch the Saturday or Sunday football games. And I have nothing against people that like football. I understand, you guys are kind of geeks about that. But I wanted to watch horror films, and that was my thing. And so because of that, I just grew up not liking televised sports. I didn't like playing sports and that kind of stuff, but the televised sports, big no for my life. Any veterans here? Anybody pre-past military? No? That's okay. I'm a veteran of the United States Air Force. I was in the 80s, right in between all the really dangerous things. My assignments were in the Netherlands and upstate New York. Upstate New York is the most deadly place you can be from October to May because it snows nonstop. I came out after a midnight shift one night, car totally buried in snow, and I spent an hour digging out to drive 5 minutes to where I live. And that was just crazy. But to amuse myself, because at the time I wasn't working as an actor, I was on hiatus from drama club in high school and an actual acting career, and I didn't have any outlet. So to amuse myself, I would do things that would make other people think I was crazy. So I would like get on top of the patrol cars. I was a security police officer, so that's my job. I was guarding stuff. So in the middle of the night, trying to stay awake, drinking black coffee, I would get on top of patrol cars and howl if the moon was full. I would walk on the flight lines where they keep the aircraft, and basically do impressions of Michael Myers and Jason. And they'd be watching me in closed circuit TV and asking me to do this. So I would entertain. And they always did this impression of me on the walkie-talkies. And at the time, I was 20, so I was trying to sound really, really tough, kind of gravelly voice. This is Rik Deskin reporting in. That's how I would talk. So they always did this impression of me, which sounded like that. And so everyone was always saying, "Yeah, this is Rik Deskin." It always talked to me like me. It was very, very strange, very surreal. But my first 2 years in the Netherlands, that was cool because there I was in a totally different country, 18. There was no drinking age, and I was living off base. I mean, that was just awesome. But apparently, because I was such a rebel and got an earring, one earring, a hoop, that I wore off duty, off base, I was very controversial for the time. And what I was doing was I was trying to immerse myself into the culture. The culture was very punk and new wave. It was kind of, those lines were the divisions outside of the base. I didn't want people to know I was American because you were a target then. And a lot of the other American guys were like, speak English to me. I can't speak Dutch. And they were just rude. And so they were giving us a bad reputation. And I wanted to kind of fit in and kind of, immerse myself and just be, below people's radar. And it got to the point by the end of 2 years where I was so believable as someone that was living there, they thought I was actually a Dutch person. And they wouldn't believe I was American, which, worked in my favor until I got married. I made the mistake of getting married the first time when I was 20. Anybody get married when they're 20? Don't do it. It's not a good idea. Trust me. It can work out for some people. Kudos for those that it can't work out for. But my first wife, she was... I got married because everybody else was doing it. All my friends that were older, they were like, they were getting married, and I was like, oh, I got to do this. I have to get married. Everyone's doing it. So this girl basically proposed to me, and I got married to her, and it lasted about 3 years before she went crazy and tried to get me killed. But that was in Houston, Texas, and those kind of things happen there. But now I'm much happier. I'm married a second time, and been married for almost 18 years. I have 4 kids and a grandkid. And life is good. What else is going on? Comic books. I covered that with Ben. Are you guys any comic book fans out there? Woo! All right. What about that 52 thing that DC Comics is doing? Boo? Yeah. I haven't gotten to that point in my reading yet. I'm like a few months behind, so I guess it's going to hit me when I get to that. But one of the funny things about comic books and the various comic book movies that are out right now is all the most of the people playing our major heroes like Batman and Superman coming up are British actors. And as it turns out, the American actors right now are more character actors and not the heroic characters that are iconic in the way that Christian Bale is as Batman. Although that voice he had in the second movie, that was lame. Kevin Conroy in the animated series, that's my favorite voice. They're in geeking out. So anyway, that's enough about my weird life. I wanted to, just want to plug the fact that I'm doing a show here on Monday night, hosting for Roger Zola. And let's bring Ben Dunn back up. And thanks you guys for your time. I'm Rik Deskin.
Going for Rik, everybody. Absolutely. That dude has been in my life way too long.